this could be absolutely massive for Activision Blizzard, and notably for Overwatch 2, because what we've got here are comments from Phil Spencer that he made on the official Xbox channel on one of their little podcasts that they do. And honestly, what he's saying here is he doesn't want developers to focus on things to purely generate financial gain. That is absolutely massive from who... This man is the head of Activision Blizzard now. They own the entire company. This is not how Bobby Kotick would talk. He wants maximum revenue generation. You can see that by hires that came online in the Overwatch team towards, as we got kind of close towards the launch of Overwatch 2. All they were interested in was maximum revenue generation at the cost seemingly of their entire audience base. I'm going to prevent myself from getting too heated because you guys know what I think about the monetization of Overwatch 2 and what they did to the game. But what Phil Spencer is saying here is he doesn't want that. And this could be massive. This could be absolutely massive. And it might mean that finally Overwatch starts to be run by people who want to develop the game, people who want to push the game forward, who want to innovate. Think about where Overwatch 2 came from. No, think about where Overwatch came from. This was Game of the Year in 2016. Yes, it was salvaged from the remnants of Titan, but the game itself essentially, and I don't care who you are, you have to agree with this, it did at the time redefine multiplayer FPS games. It was incredible, absolutely, especially hero-based ones. It's incredible, right? And the way it's been treated over the years, we know Bobby Kotick has come in and he's thrust things on the team and he wanted to do stupid tasks which then all got shelved, wasting years and years of developer time. We know this because we've seen not executive producers, but we've seen producers on the Overwatch team after they've left say things like, come on, Bobby, why don't you tell everybody about all the jobs you dropped on our team? Anyway, what I want to do in this video is show you what Phil Spencer's saying, because this could be the dawn of a new era for this game, right? Because I hate to say this. I'm just going to say it. In the grand scheme of Microsoft, Overwatch, it's not some big, massive title that's going to redefine gaming. So give it a bit of leeway. And what Phil is saying here is they're going to do that. So this guy, could be the savior we wanted. So let's take a look at this. That's a long-winded intro, but you guys can see, honestly, I'm really excited about this. So look at this, right? So we've got this tweet here from Akami Games. And this is a link to the video where Phil Spencer talks about what's going to happen with Microsoft. We are going to look at a section of that video as well, because I think it's important we do. But this is what I want to take away from this tweet here. Wants to make sure any old IP they revisit has a passionate team that wants to make a difference, not just for financial gain. Now, I know that is in relation to old IPs, bringing games back from the back catalogue of Blizzard or Activision, but not for financial gain. He doesn't want people or teams working on projects they don't want to work on. And you'll see him say this in his own words, because that's not, the developers at Blizzard were world renowned for creating some of the best gaming experiences on the planet. I feel that right now, Blizzard doesn't feel like that, and it hasn't felt like that for a long time, and it needs to get that back. And there's no reason why Blizzard can't get back to the top level of game design, production, and all of that stuff again, is there? There's just no reason. So let's move on from this, right? And let's take a look at this. So this is from Game Pass Tracker on X. And what they've done is they've pulled out a section of the video, and instead of us watching a 40-minute long video of Phil Spencer being interviewed, we're just going to listen to this bit because it's huge. You can see there are some takeaways here. He says, I do think with Game Pass, we have the ability to pick a couple of franchises every year and almost do a revisited. So I hope that's StarCraft 3. If teams want to go back and revisit some of the things we have and do a full focus on it, I'm going to be all in. But listen to what he says, and I'll pause this when he makes comments, because honestly, this is so, it's so refreshing. Like this is so refreshing, honestly, to hear this. Listen to this.
The first thing, as I kind of mentioned before, is to go spend time with the teams, because I just don't think that a team working on something that isn't their passion.
Yeah. Obviously, there'll be probably loads of devs at Blizzard watching this going, damn right, because I'm not going to put words in people's mouths because I don't know what people think. I don't intimately talk to any of these people. In fact, I don't even know any developers at Blizzard anymore. But what I'm saying is, when somebody says that, who is now essentially your big bad boss, that's got to be music to your ears. That has to be music to your ears. It's got to be. It's got to be.
Leads to the best result. So I might have my list of things from my memories in history that I want to see made again. Everybody will, right? When I just think about, not just about Activision Blizzard King, you add in Bethesda, you add in Xbox's history, Rare, like the amount of franchises that we now have in our portfolio is, it's kind of inspiring. It's daunting. I feel that we have to be a great
That was well played there, by the way, because he could have said it's too many, but I can't say that because Microsoft's buying everybody.
custodian for the content that we touch. These are memories from people on different platforms, different decades. And I want to make sure that when we're going back and visiting something, that we do it with our complete ability, a motivated team that wants to go work on something and make a difference, not just create something for financial gain. Or
Did you hear that? He wants a motivated team that'll go and work on something, to create something, not just being motivated by financial gain. And that's the issue we've got with Activision Blizzard right now. And this is going to take a while for this to get undone. Phil Spencer's only going to go and start looking at what the teams are working on, I think, in the next couple of weeks, probably around BlizzCon and things like that. And to hear somebody say that, when we've been sitting here and I think us as Overwatch fans have been almost at the brunt of this, because we've seen our game completely turned into a vehicle for financial generation, using all of I guess they're tropes at this point, but all of the just tried and tested and used mechanisms and systems and insidious design and fear of missing out and all of this stuff rammed into the game to try and extract as much money as possible. And you've got to remember as well, people go around and they say stuff like, oh yeah, well, look at Diablo 3, right? That's got to be the model for Blizzard Diablo 4, sorry. That's the model for them going forward, right? They get a box price, they've got a battle pass, and they've got a shop. It's like, come on, you can't have everything, lads. And people even say, well, Overwatch isn't the same, but it is. Overwatch is the same. Have you totally forgot about the Watchpoint pack? Do you know what that was? That actually put Overwatch, I think, back in the top 10 global sellers of video games for a period of time. The Watchpoint pack, people bought it thinking they are buying Overwatch 2, where you just got skins, and which hilariously, those skins have been sold in the shop since then, so they're not even unique, they're not even exclusive, they don't give a shit, basically. They just do these things to generate money. So Overwatch did have a box sale, it's then got a battle pass, and it's got a shop, and we all know the history with that and the way they've gone about doing that. It doesn't feel great to spend money in Overwatch, which I think is a massive problem, and this needs to be rectified. Anyway, I'm going off on a mad one, but let's carry on and listen to what Phil has got to say.
Create something for a PR announcement and not deliver on the price. So I'm going to start.
I'm replaying this section. I love it.
A motivated team that wants to go work on something and make a difference, not just create something for financial gain or create something for a PR announcement. And
Phil, I'll hold you to this, because this is, again, you cannot be a game developer at Blizzard and watch this and think, oh, this is bad. This is great. This is him saying, we're not just going to do something for PR. Overwatch has been dragged for, there's so many incidents within Overwatch's lifespan where things have happened and it very blatantly looks like a PR attempt to cover up something else going on at Activision Blizzard. In fact, I think bloody Bobby Kotick has even done these things, timed them, because he knows Overwatch can deflect certain things. Anyway, I digress.
Not deliver on the price. So I'm going to start with the teams and what are they passionate about. That's why I'm excited to go on these visits. And then we'll look at it. I think we've done an okay job.
Nobody on any of these teams is going to go. I cannot in a million years, unless you're the executive vice president, producer, or whatever, or you're the person in charge of the shop in Overwatch 2. Nobody is going to sit there and go, oh, I'm really excited about our battle pass. Oh, yeah, I'm really excited about our skins. They might be excited about the skins. Hell, I get excited about Overwatch skins. But then when they're shoved in the shop or they're stashed inside the ultimate battle pass, because, yes, it's the Lilith skin and, the Inarius Farah skin. By the way, they cost $40 if you want to buy them. You can't buy them with your credits in the game. Oh, yes. Nobody working on the game is going to go, we are passionate about that. Nobody. We want good games. We don't want monetization hellholes.
Job as Xbox, I don't think we've done kind of an A+ job on looking at our franchises and revisiting them. It's always a trade-off between what do you do that's new and going back and doing something. I do think with Game Pass, we have the ability to maybe pick a couple franchises every year and almost do a revisited. I just made up that term, so it's not a brand.
It's not on a box.
It's not on a box, but I tease about things like Hexen just because I remember playing it as a kid. I have no plan for that. But I do think
I got to say, Hexen is quite a good game, and I played that, so that's probably That's probably dating me quite bad.
When you look across all of the franchises that are a part of our teams, there's an opportunity for us to go back, even if it's just to recognize the moment.
Hang on, do they own Redneck Rampage? Maybe they do. I don't know. Or is that 3D Realms, or did that use the 3D Realms engine for Duke Nukem? I'm not sure. Anyway, this has gone on a mad tangent.
Meant in gaming's history, and do something right with it. Make it available to people through Game Pass. I think there's an opportunity. There's not a plan for that, but there's an opportunity. If teams want to go back and revisit some of the things that we have and do kind of a full focus on it, I'm going to be all in.
Overwatch 1.
Because I think there's just amazing trove.
Hang on, categorically, we don't want Overwatch 1 back. I mean, it would be nice to still play it, but like there were problems with that game. I don't think the problems necessarily got fixed with 5v5 either, going down from 6v6. And I think they could have just carried on developing Overwatch 1. But what we've got now, it's better. Can I say that? I'm going to get slaughtered? I don't know. I've said that before anyway. I still think it's better. There's still problems. There's always going to be issues. It's going to be a constant battle with trying to get the game balance right. But it's an interesting thought, isn't it? Imagine revisiting Overwatch 1.
of things that we can go and touch again. It doesn't have to just be about Activision and Blizzard. Like I said, when you look across all the portfolio, I think about things like the Quake 2 remaster.
Again, this was good.
From it. I thought that was awesome. Right?
Yeah,
they
this was
did
good.
A real good job revisiting a game, making it current, but also not leaving the history behind. So I'd love to see more things like that.
So you mentioned the trove of content, the treasure trove, and you've mentioned Hexen.
Yeah.
I think so. It fits. But are there, Hexen's maybe a deep cut for some because it's a shooter from the 90s, and we obviously have a very wide-ranging community. Are there any other games or franchises, just for you personally, deep in the vault that we can now potentially explore that you're just personally excited for people to discover for the first time or maybe rediscover?
I hadn't really thought about that question. Specific on Activision and Blizzard, there's some moments in Activision's history. You mentioned Tony Hawk, you mentioned Guitar Hero, even things like Skylanders, or that were moments where the teams kind of innovated outside of expectation. What do you mean I'm going to carry a plastic guitar and plug it into my console and play? Like, that's never going to work until it worked.
This is a really good point, right? Because that's how Blizzard used to be. That is how Blizzard used to be. Where the hell did Overwatch come from? Like, that's where it came from. You know what I mean? Will this work? We don't know. Let's put it together. Oh, we think it's working. We think we've got something that's great here. We've innovated. Actual game designers have been allowed to create some art. I'm not just talking artwork in the game. I'm talking the actual game being art. Look what they've produced. Look at Blizzard throughout its history. They've done this up until, recent years where they've just, even, you can even argue, like, you can be overly harsh on Diablo 4, but for all of Diablo 4's faults, there is some incredible game design there. You can see elements of really good game design. Then it just trails off into like a shit show monetization again. And you just, I'm not going to rant about Diablo 4. Obviously, the new season's come out. I haven't played that yet, so I can't really comment on that. But there was an issue with the end game not really being there. So it's almost like when you look at Blizzard games in like a granular fashion, especially the most recent ones and the recent updates to their IPs, you can just see like here's the game. Like, people are fighting for that internally at Blizzard, and then bang, here's some monetization. A lot of the developers, I'm sure, will be aware of what's going to be announced in and around their game. Look at the season right now with Overwatch 2. The skins are fantastic. I actually think the co-op mode is pretty good. In fact, I think it's the best co-op mode they've done. I think it's better than the PvE missions, to be fair. I think the PvE missions were dire. But, like, that's great. That's awesome. And then, boom, you want the Lilith skin. That's $40. No one can like that. You know what I mean? It must be so frustrating, honestly.
And then everybody said, well, of course that was going to work. Skylanders kind of the same way. For me personally, though, when I think about the franchises, I kind of go back to things like some of the old Infocom things that were, like, if you just asked for me personally, part of my youth, the Texas Adventure Zord.
This is way past my age group.
King's Quest. I thought they did a really nice job. But like the Sierra catalog, the Infocom catalog, just because of my age, like those things speak to me because they were moments in my gaming career, my gaming kind of experience that really meant something. And I love those. when you think about Blizzard and all these things that they've done, like amazing franchise, StarCraft, like it was in the video that the teams did, which I know there's been some discussion about should we have done a video for an acquisition or not, but
yeah, there has been. In fact, I found that, I mean, that is like very corporate. I don't know why they did that. Like, I wouldn't have advised that. That's not a great look. But it's interesting again to see him like acknowledge that. I know at the end of the day, Phil Spencer is a corpo. He's a massive CEO of a massive multi-billion-dollar company. In Xbox, inside a trillion-dollar company. So it's like these are levels of craziness. But you do see little bits. Like there is no way you'd ever see a Bobby Kotick saying anything like that. I think we made a mistake. There's no way. There's just no way. I mean, he wouldn't come out and say we want developers to make things for fun. He wants them to make things for money because that's what the shareholders like. You see, like things are totally different.
There's just some amazing franchises in there. Most important is that we treat them with the respect that they deserve.
Yeah.
And we don't turn it into some way for us just to kind of, like I said, a PR moment or something else.
Yeah. Like, how can you not listen to that and think that is great? How can you not listen to that as a person working at Blizzard, as a diehard fan of their games, and go, that does not sound like what I want to hear? That is exactly what we want to hear. Now, the proof will be in the pudding, right? Will any of this happen? Will we start seeing, things happening in certain ways? There's too much to discuss in this video, but things that would happen that would, start winning back the trust of the players. I made a video on Overwatch a few months ago and said they've just lost all trust of the players. I think it got some stupid amount of views on it. People resonate with that because they have. I still play Overwatch almost every day, but I am dejected at the state of the game. No, that's not right. I'm not dejected at the state of the game. I'm dejected at everything they've done to sort of curtail any kind of future expansion of the game because it's shoved into this monetization like cage and it can't escape. But maybe now it can. And here's the other thing as well. I touched on this a bit earlier on in the video. Overwatch isn't really anything massive in this world of Microsoft, right? It's another franchise. Is it as big as Halo? Debatable. I mean, I know Halo's a massive franchise, and people probably go, shut up, Sty, Halo's massive. Personally, I never really got into Halo. I was playing Counter-Strike at the time. I was playing on PC. I didn't have an Xbox. I couldn't afford it when I was younger. I had a PC that was built from different bits from different members of my family. I had a monitor that it came out of a skip. It was literally in a skip. My dad seen it driving home from work one day, bought me this monitor. Games I played most of the time were pirated because they had to be. I couldn't afford to buy them. So any multiplayer games that I had, they were on PC, and I never had a console. It was too expensive. So yeah, I never played Halo. But like, I guess, I mean, I've just lost my train of thought. I've just gone off on a mad one. I lost my train of thought there. But like, I think when you're looking at what Blizzard are doing and what Blizzard can do, I think the sky is the limit if they're unleashed. I've said before, the best thing that could happen to Blizzard with this takeover is Microsoft go, you are Blizzard, off you go. They don't go, you report to us and we want these earnings and we want this and we want that. Because I don't think any self-respecting game designer or developer wants to shove crappy battle passes, wants to shove pointless rewards, hello souvenirs in Overwatch 2, or anything like that into games. I think it's just come back to me the point I was trying to make, the thing about Overwatch not being this massive or ultra mega franchise that Microsoft are going to laser in on. That might mean they get given more leeway. They get to be more experimental. They get to really lean into what their audience wants. And I will completely argue against anybody who says to me the developers don't know what the players want. They do. They always do. But it's never a question of whether the developers can implement that because they want to. It was always a question of, is it worth implementing? Are we going to get X amount of return from it? No, we're not. Oh, well, we need $1 billion a year off this franchise. We're not going to do that. You look at, I'm just going to stop there because I could just keep going in and in and in on Overwatch. I mean, we've been over it and we've done it to death. So I think what we're going to do is I want to show you this as well. So this is a tweet from Shinobi, and this is about games on Game Pass. And no Activision Blizzard games on Xbox Game Pass this year, confirms Phil Spencer. He says 2024 is more accurate. And also, there is this comment here about Phil Spencer. This is from the same video as well. Has suggested there will be no more exclusive Call of Duty skins or timed content as the series moves towards 100% parity across all platforms. Now, what is interesting about that is this is kind of funny. So imagine paying nearly $69 billion for Call of Duty and all of that combined company. And then when the beta rolls out, it's not actually on your Xbox. In fact, your Xbox was the final system to get it. It's on PlayStation first because there was an exclusivity agreement and all of that. It was kind of funny. Well, Phil is saying that they're going to move away from that and it'll just be parity. So that's a good sign, right? Now, again, it's been easy for us to come in and just say, well, Microsoft endgame here is to just make everything exclusive to Microsoft and PC, which might be their endgame. And probably is, to be fair, but that's probably 10, 15 years down the line. There's still agreements that they've been forced to put in place through the CMA in the UK. I think there's a 15-year deal with Ubisoft on streaming of their games in the EU and things like that. So there's all things are up in the air in that regard. But I do think, honestly, looking at this and looking at what he has said here, I feel better as a Blizzard fan. I don't feel as I mean, look, let's be real, right? Me sitting here going, feel hopeless about a video game developer is completely ridiculous and over the top, right? But you do in some ways. You think, well, I wish this was better. This is our hobby. We play games. We love Overwatch, especially if you're watching me on this channel. You probably do really love Overwatch. And then, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel there. And I think that is something for us to look forward to, isn't it? All right, everybody, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I think he's making the right sounds here. And I am actually really interested in seeing what he does. It'll be interesting if he turns up at BlizzCon and says anything about what's going on. Maybe he won't, because that might be a little bit over the top, like he's literally just bought the company, or Microsoft has. He's the head of Xbox, and he's just going to walk in and say, let's go. I don't think he will. I think I really want to see Blizzard just given full creative power over its IPs again. In this deal with Activision Blizzard King, the way the money is generated, it is, first and foremost, King generates an absolute incredible amount of money. And we also know from court documents that were made available, were leaked, in fact, from all of the hearings around the acquisition, that Microsoft were looking to acquire the company for King. They want a mobile game division. King generates a massive amount of money. Then you've got Activision with Call of Duty generating a massive amount of money. Then you've got Blizzard, third in the position, struggling at times. Yeah, they've got World of Warcraft. Yeah, it does okay. Yeah, they've got Overwatch. Yeah, it does okay. Hearthstone struggling. They recently fired members of that team. And then you look at Diablo 4. Yeah, big launch. Everybody wanted to play Diablo 4. I thought it was okay to play through the campaign, but then it just fell off the face of the planet. Now they're trying to recover. So for want of a better word, Blizzard is not that big of a company inside this company now. So I hope they get given more agency to run their own things. Because I'll tell you this, guys, if anything my life has taught me up until this point, there is nothing more valuable than having agency over your own actions. And if Microsoft can give that back to Blizzard, we might see a renaissance of this company and of this game. Thank you for watching the video, guys. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and I will catch you lot on the next one. See you soon.